We've sold over 4 million cups. Is that right? No. Let me start that over, because I got that wrong. Yeah, we've sold over 4 million sets of speed stacks since we started this, so 48 million cups. It's a lot of cups.
To run in a tournament, you got to have nerves of steel, and you got to be able to do it in 3 shots.
Yeah. This is a sport. Okay, I'm a coach a sport. This is a sport.
Hey, my name is Bob Foss. This year happens to be our 16th anniversary of sport stacking tournaments and our 9th World Championships. We have more than 700 stackers from 20 states and 16 different countries. Give yourselves a big hand for being here.
It was in 2001 that what is now known as the World Sport Stacking Association started. To date, we're in almost 34,000 schools and recreation programs in about 30 countries around the world, and we've always seen it as a pretty serious thing. It sounds pretty goofy, and stacking plastic cups for speed and time. But when you really boil it down, it's as exciting and as any other sport. You think of taking a ball and throwing it in a peach basket on the side of a barn, or taking a stick and hitting a little ball into a hole. When you boil all those things down, they sound pretty simple and goofy. But there's some real skill involved in all of those things, including sport stacking.
The 3-3-3 is the shortest stack. You simply upstack 3-3-3, then go back to the beginning and downstack. The 3-6-3. You first upstack a 3, then a 6, and then another 3, go back to the beginning, and downstack. The cycle is the premier stack in the sport stacking world. It's comprised of 3 parts. First, the 3-6-3, then the 6-6, and then a 1-10-1, finishing back in a 3-6-3. The current official world record for the cycle is 5.93 seconds.
Oh, wow, you're already recording? Hi, yeah. I'm Lawrence Masserin, also known as Golden Archer 96 on YouTube. I look like a total creeper with this hat, don't I? Because even if I'm turned around, I'm still watching you. Back when I was 11 years old, my cousin brought his speed stacks to a family party, and then I just took one look at it. He was just stacking, and I was like, this is really cool. I got so addicted to it. Like, I seriously didn't want to stop. You always saw your improvement right there. Like, you just stop the timer, you'd see the faster time, and it'd just be like, wow, I'm getting a lot better at this. It's just so unique. I mean, like, you don't see a lot of people doing this, and the people who can do it well, it just looks so cool. And it's just so amazing. So cool to just see how fast you can go. It's just cool, and that's what I really like about it. My fastest part is probably my 6-6 down stack. I'm not sure why, but I'm just really good at it. It's just kind of fast. Someone found a program called Uvu, which allows 6-way video chat, and that's what we always do, just to stack together. And even after we're done stacking, we always just stay on a video chat just so we could talk, casual stuff, and it's a lot of fun. These were from Pennsylvania, these were from Delaware, a couple of these are from New Jersey, I think. And I still can't believe I was actually able to get 3rd overall in 2010. Hi, I'm outside for once. After throwing it in the air to myself, I mean, yes! I actually did it. Okay. That we gotta put in there sometime. I just want to see that.
I don't really like Justin Bieber. That is from camp, and we just each got one, and so it's just a memory from camp. It doesn't mean anything.
My name is Emma Slavok, and I'm from Advance, North Carolina, and I am 10 years old, and I'm in the 4th grade.
Isn't that cool?
My goal for sports stacking is to be the fastest girl, which I hope I get there.
When she was little and going to these tournaments, she just almost always got first place. Just almost every time in every event, she would get this, blue ribbon. Well, she wanted the other color ribbons. And I would try to, talk to her like, no, believe me, you don't. You want the blue ribbon.
My elementary teacher, she said that I was too good, that I couldn't really compete, so they gave me a special medal that had a blue panther claw on it.
She said she was gonna beat Emily Fox.
I'm gonna beat Emily Fox. I'm gonna be the fastest girl, and I'm going to be the winner. I gave each one of my classmates a signed by Emily Fox cup, and I thought that was so cool. And they were like, what is this? And I was like, Emily Fox signed it. Come on, guys. Y'all know what this is. And they were like, no, we don't, but okay, thanks. I was kind of mad at them. I was like, they don't know who Emily Fox is.
Yeah, thank you. I get made fun of all the time for that video. Hi, I'm Emily Fox. I'm 24 years old. I guess I'm here because I used to have the world record in sports stacking, and I have been stacking since I was 9 years old and traveling around the world with my family. 2 of them are here.
Yes.
I've always loved sports. I've been playing basketball my whole life, and so this was just another sport that came along, and I always have to be the best at it. So having 2 younger brothers, I thought it was my duty to be the fastest for a while. They got close, but never quite beat me.
3rd grade, I won the tournament.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and let's not forget who had the 333 world record holder for like 10 years.
It wasn't even.
Yes, it was.
10 years, really?
Yeah, no, because it was from kindergarten.
He exaggerates a lot.
Yeah.
Ready, set, go.
777. The first trophy that I won, I still have it. It's just a single purple cup, and that was from the first tournament. But
And mine had 3 cups because I won. But, sorry.
yeah, one of the things that I came up with was the shuffle.
We learned the Hawaiian. What you do is you go like this to end in a 363.
The zigzag.
Woo! Do the one where we pull it apart. This one takes a while.
So yeah, that was another.
We had a lot of time.
My initial attraction to this stacking thing was, it reminded me of upside down juggling. I performed professionally as a juggler and manipulated scarves and balls and clubs and all kinds of things. And when I saw kids manipulating these cups on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, I thought, this is really cool. This is upside down juggling.
They are cup stackers. If you've never heard of this before, cup stackers from the Boys and Girls Club of Oceanside, California. So you pick up 3 in each hand.
Let go one.
Let go 1. Come up here.
This one right there.
Well, I know that. I just did that to see if you knew that.
We started this after-school program, and so we had 250 kids out of 500 come take part in this, and it was then that we really knew that this was really something and would touch these kids' lives in a real positive way, and we needed to start sharing it with other people.
Hi, I'm Jiwei Wu, 15-year-old from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I migrated from China to the United States when I was 9. I try to practice every day and try to beat my personal best. I want to be better than I was yesterday. I started YouTube immediately after I started stacking. Is what gets me going. There's so many people who watches me. I want to inspire them. I get thousands of views each day, just really surprising me on how much stacking plastic cups have brought for me. I get some decent amount of money from it, making videos. This laptop, I actually bought it with the money I made off YouTube. And my parents wanted me, like every Asian parents, they want me to be like a doctor or a lawyer of some sort. People ask me if I want to be a bartender when I grow up. Like, I want people to know that I can actually get a career of stacking these plastic cups. Judging stacking is my dream, and seeing fast stacking is just everything to me. An organization that I started is the Online Sports Stacking Federation. We hold online competitions on the internet, and stackers can compete if they want to. So we're like the online WSSA, as we can say. World record right there.
You've got all your different cup colors, stack mat designs, Pro Series, minis, you got Super Stacks, you got Battle Stack. I'm Larry Gores, president of Speed Stacks, and headquartered here in our Denver office. The most important thing in sports stacking cups is roundness. And when I say round, I mean how close is this to a perfect circle? If that gets out of round even a little bit, when a kid goes to pick up a cup, it'll pick up the next cup with it. And when kids are going super fast, that can result in a fumble. It's really important that you store your cups, upright, you're not laying them on their sides. That's what'll help kids go fast.
All right, open. Hi, we're the Myers Brothers. Come on in.
Come on.
I'm Joel, and I am 13.
I'm Jake, and I'm 9.
I'm Ryan, and I'm 11.
I'm Luke, and I'm 16.
Hi.
This is our mom.
Always doing dishes or laundry.
Yeah, fun. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. Don't forget your first set of cups.
My first set of blues, and then my first set of retail greens.
My sister always really thought through her gifts. She thought that this set of cups would be really fun for Luke. And it was kind of special because my sister had cancer when she gave the gift to Luke. And the boys had a chance to stack for her, and then she passed away. And it's so amazing to us because it's like the gift that kept on giving. It's like a legacy that my sister left, with the boys and especially with Luke. Somehow she just knew that that would be the right gift.
Back when we started Speed Stacks, the way that we kept track of stackers' times was with stopwatches. We had 3 judges, and we threw out the high and low times, and the middle time was the official time. Now that's all fine, and the stopwatches are accurate, but what's not accurate is the person activating the stopwatch. That's when we developed the idea of the stack mat and patented that idea. To start a timer, you have to use both hands, and to stop it, you have to use both hands. One hand doesn't do it. One of the advantages of it is once you get your time, you can show it to a camera. And we didn't even think about that when we developed it, but it since has become one of the important features of the thing. This whole timing system is also the official timing system for cubing.
Teacher, I get so nervous before an exam and I even forget my own name. Well, whoever's name you put on this test is flunking this course. Look at how funny that is. That's like a knee slapper. I'm Drew Wilford, and I am 17, and I live in Watertown, South Dakota. small town life. I don't know. There's nothing to do on weekends. It's building over here with the red roof. Play Nerf sometimes there. That's pretty fun. This shoots like 200 feet. Same thing, you'd be like, pew. And then hooked to it is a Tachyon XC HD, which is the 2011 edition. Shoots some pretty good video. Marks, get set, go. I have stacked at school more than my fair share, especially to calculus, because there's nothing else to do. But other than that, I do like demonstrations around town and stuff. Like when I went to the Boys and Girls Club, like we had 2 lines at one table, and they would just get in line as quickly as possible after they got done. They would just run back and try to beat their time. But when you're at like an elderly home, it's a lot more difficult because like they barely even knew I was there, much less I was stacking cups, much less how to stack a 3-3-3. That was by far the toughest crowd I think I've ever been involved in. It was bad.
My name is Brian Uterman. I'm a professor in the Department of Exercise and Sports Science at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. We wanted to test whether or not sports stacking improved hand-eye coordination and reaction time. What we did is went into second grade classrooms, physical education classrooms. They had 20 sessions and they were about 30 minutes each. After that, we tested again their hand-eye coordination and reaction time, and the kids who were in the stacking group actually improved their hand-eye coordination and reaction time by between 20 and 30%, both in their dominant hand as well as their non-dominant hand.
We're his fans. Yeah, we're both his fans. He goes super fast. Like, yeah, incredible. When he goes like this, he goes like up and down. He goes too fast.
My name is Marvin Flores. I run the Before and After School program. And actually, the whole way we started with the cups was William Pauly introduced that to us. And as you can see, it's picked up very, very fast. The kids love it.
It's made him a better student. We kind of use the same psychology for his schoolwork and tests, and the idea of practicing every day and making sure he's on top of everything and succeeding.
I'm sorry.
When I kind of lose my speed or I don't feel like stacking, I sit down here and watch videos. That's pretty much all I do, watch videos and stack. I normally keep some cups in here, like old timers and stuff I would need. I've never not stacked for a day. Like, I've never taken a break. I stack a lot.
He used to really be into trains, and that was all he was into, was just trains.
From when he was 2.
And we had a rather large train board in our basement, and we dedicated a lot of time to that. And then one day it was just no more trains. It was all cups.
At first I thought it was kind of obsessive, but I think that's just the nature of a cup stacker, and one that does well, it just sort of has those tendencies.
Yes, 980. Beat a record.
Okay, let's go for 2 in a row.
Hey, I'm Tyler Cole. I'm from London, Ontario, and I am a world-class sports stacker. Actually, unofficially, I am considered the fastest in the world. I'm doing a game show called Big Brother.
Over the next few weeks, the competitors will compete in challenges to become the power holder, the most powerful position in the game. After tonight's episode, it is up to you to decide who leaves the show. But first, let's meet the contestants.
There's 2 episodes per week, and the winner receives a free set of specially designed speed stacks and a stack mat and a timer. It really brings something new to the sports stack community.
Never really done this before because I don't usually do it out in the public, but we'll see how it goes. I don't know if I'll make any money or not, but...
the floor in under 2 hours. That's amazing. He's ridiculous.
If he could do that with sausages, he'd have a job.
No way he's doing that.
I made about $60 in 30 minutes.
He can actually make a living doing this all night, every night. Like, look at the crowd.
5 steps.
What'd you get?
6, 7.
Oh no, there's one more in there. 6 what?
6, 7.
617.
6, 17. I'm Michael.
What grade are you in?
I'm not in a grade.
Next year you're going to be in
Kindergarten.
next year. And my name's Tim, and I'm Michael's dad. When he was about 3 years old, he started getting about as fast as the 4-year-old world records were. And so that's when I had a feeling that we should probably go to a tournament at some point. So when Michael turned 4, we went to our first tournament. He's almost gotten a world record in every tournament since then. I have to crouch way down to stack at one of the competition tables.
And I have to stand on my platform.
Well, yeah, Michael still has to stand on a platform or on tiptoes to be at the right height. It seems like the younger stackers, they don't have to think about the patterns, their hands just go. And when older people stack, we're thinking about what comes next, and it just is a little slower. It comes a little slower for us.
It's just because you started out as a girl.
Yes.
There were some folks who were a bit critical of sports stacking in that, students weren't real active. They weren't burning a lot of calories. They weren't engaged in a lot of physical activity while they were doing the sports stacking. So we decided to do a little study where we would measure the energy expenditure while students were actually stacking. And we measured the energy expenditure in something called a MET, and 1 MET would be like the amount of calories I'm burning just sitting here at rest. Kids were burning about 3 METs worth of energy, which is 3 times more than I'm burning right now. And so it's not a tremendous amount, but it's similar to things like bowling or golfing, maybe playing frisbee, volleyball, some of those types of activities.
I'm Dominic Valerian. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm 13, and I've been stacking for 2.5 years. My school started stacking in PE class, and I fell in love with it the day of. I got so into it that I brought them to school every single day. And when we'd have indoor recess, I'd stack with them. And kids would be screaming at me, "Stop!" And I was like, no, it was physically impossible for me to stop. I wanted to keep on going. I was so obsessed with it. Nobody else's opinion mattered to me.
The best part of being the coach is the fact that you get to invite qualified stackers to be on the team. And we choose our stackers based on times that they're doing at tournaments, if they're holding a world record.
You have to have class.
Not class.
Yes, you have to have class, Mom.
No, Dom, you have to have a great attitude and want to promote the sport.
And you have to have class. Now, then I want some kid going, "Nice to meet you."
Well, when I called Dominic's mother, she explained to me that he was going to be very, very excited.
Hold on. Mrs. Holden Metz would like to talk to you.
Hi, Mrs. Metz. I'm doing good. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for choosing me.
I was like, I could have cried, like on the floor, just like tears of happiness.
I think if they told you, Dom, you won $1 million, you wouldn't have been as excited. If somebody would have called you and said, guess what, you just won a trip to Disney World.
I wouldn't care about Disney World.
We were all set to host the 2011 World Sports Stacking Championships in London. Suddenly, the Royals announced that they were going to have a wedding on that same weekend, and we decided we need to bring that back to the United States in Dallas, Texas. There will be 38 competition tables.
About 200 stack mats, almost 100 tournament displays.
Yeah, there are well over 1,000 medals that are given out, and miles of yellow tape.
Yes, right.
Because each, we call them sports stacking courts, require us to lay down a start line and a center line.
So a sports stacking court is roughly 11 by 17 with a center line dividing it down the middle and a start line about 7 feet back from the competition table.
Stephen P. here. Oh man, I'm so glad you're here. Stephen, how do you say your last name?
Perugnan.
This is Stephen Perugnan. How old is Steve? He's 9 years old. 9 years old, and he tied for 6th overall, over 1,000 stackers. Fantastic.
Stephen is just an inspiration for everyone. He's been bringing sports stacking all across the globe.
When he stacked his 10, if you watch it on the video, it like floats. Like it wasn't like he like set them down. He just went and like it just, oh, it's so crazy.
When you have such good speed and such good consistency, that's like the perfect combination, and I'm pretty sure that's what Stephen has.
He really inspired me to go fast, because when I was really slow, I thought, pretend like you're Steven and you're going for a 5.
I'm Stephen Perugnan. I'm 13 years old, and I live in Mount Kisco, New York.
I was the first to get single digits, and then I was the first to get an 8. Was I the first to get a 7?
No, I got 7 first.
Okay, Steven was the first to get a 7.
And then from there, I was
yeah.
I get asked if I'm Steven a lot. A group of people just come up to me like, hey, can I have your autograph? I'm thinking about starting to sign Stephen Perugnan on all my autographs so I don't have to let people down. Over the past few years, I've been to Los Angeles for the Ellen Show, Italy, Brazil, Hong Kong, Singapore, and the Philippines.
I think when it really hit us is when we went to Asia, where we had to go on at least 2 TV shows a day and 1 school visit a day, where we were getting mobbed. Because in the Philippines, apparently we were a huge crowd because
we're Filipinos.
Basically.
When I was their age, when I was 10 years old, I didn't do really anything. You know, I was just playing marbles. When he puts his mind into it, he goes 100%, no matter what.
Come on, you guys, you can do this. Oh, come on.
1, 2, 3. You know what? Good job.
This is a world record, by the way.
If you think about a tournament that's going to host 1,000, 1,200 kids, going to have 20 countries there, it's going to be out of state in a different venue, and essentially we're doing that with, you know, a core group of 10 folks. It needs to function and run in a certain way. There have been moments that that get very intense. Bob tends to get really intense around tournaments.
What's everybody? Parents, come on down. Come on, walk down the steps. Put one foot in front of the other and walk. There you go. Come on down. Everybody, welcome to our international meet and greet here at the WSSA World Sport Stacking Championships.
I have gotten an Ireland pin, a Thailand flag sticker, whatever this is.
Kevin!
Hi. From the Australians, I got a koala bear.
Could I have a little drum roll from the audience, please? Drum roll on your... Here we go.
Every 5 out of 6 YouTube comments, I'd say 9 out of 10 actually. 9 out of 10 YouTube comments, actually all the YouTube comments not coming from stackers are all negative, saying we have no life or you should play a real sport.
There's one time where my video actually got featured on the front page, and I got so many comments just saying, oh yeah, you're dumb, stacking cups. Wow.
What they don't see is that we live a normal life, that we actually play high school sports.
At one point, we actually told the kids we had to sit them down and say, don't mind about what other people say, because at the end of the day, it's what you can accomplish for yourself. So remain confident and remain positive about things, because that's the only way you'll succeed in life.
I was just sick of hiding it. I tried to think of things why I should hide it and things why I shouldn't hide it.
Because when we first started, it was kind of like, why are you stacking cups in your spare time? And now it's a legitimate sport, like all these opportunities because of our cups.
I guess it's kind of a nerdy thing to be doing, but I don't really care. I still wear my USA jerseys to school.
Sort of had a little attitude, you know, like, fine. If you were my real friend, then you wouldn't care if I did it or not.
That doesn't bother me anymore. I mean, like, I'm having so much fun on YouTube. I know so many people who are supporting me. I can't let that, like, just a small amount of people just get in my way. It's just not worth it.
I've seen so many kids who, you know, they say, this is my sport, this is what I do. Those kids now, they're looking you in the eye, they're shaking your hand, they've developed a sense of self-confidence that they didn't have before they did this. And we've seen that over and over. To me, that is such a big deal.
You are the role models, positive role models. You're representing the United States. Be proud and show them how terrific you all are.
Get back to stacking.
The average age of NBA players is 28. Average age of Olympic swimmers, 22. Average age of Olympic gymnasts, 19. And the average age of a sports stacking world champion is 11. Sports stacking tournaments have competitors from 4 to 65 years. But when you chart the record times for each age group, they are the fastest between 10 and 14. This is a riddle that has puzzled the sports stacking community for years.
Well, genetically it states in the book, I had read one, somewhere I'd heard it, that your body does slow down.
There's something about the hand-eye coordination of the kids.
Stacking doesn't require muscle. I mean, you don't need steroids for stacking.
It's not like football where the actual biological concerns of the human frame come into play.
I mean, all of us at this point have, we're bigger than they are, we have more muscle than they do, and all of that plays into we have more to move.
You have to love sports stacking to be the best.
Like a lot of these kids put in like 3-4 hours a day stacking. And us, high schoolers, we don't have that time.
Is that the interest level changes when they get older? You know, it's either girls or basketball, or I mean, when you're 10, 11 years old, all you care about is stacking. That's all you care about.
Bone structure, the size of their hands and their arms and their height in relation to a table. You know, these are all speculations. We haven't had studies done on any of this.
It is commonly said that it takes 10 years or 10,000 hours of practice to become an expert. But several stackers have become world champions after stacking for less than 2 years.
If you look at the literature on expertise, it takes 10 years of deliberate practice to become an expert. Most expert pianists start as children. They do go through that full 10 years. They may start at 4, 6, 8 years of age. But then they actually become experts when they're in their early adulthoods. So they've gone through that 10 years. So it's really hard to explain that because it doesn't fit along with the expertise literature.
Yes! 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 Oops. Mom is gonna kill me.
Hi. Team from Thailand, they're bringing in 19 or 20 stackers, and our understanding is they've been going through a month camp. They've been training, several hours a day, and not just sport stacking, but they're swimming, they're doing meditation, physical exercise, all kinds of things, preparing themselves for the World Championships. We have that, and we have then, say, a team from New Zealand or Australia.
Team USA in the house. Team Thailand in the house. Team Switzerland in the house. 3, 2, 1. Are you a stacker in disguise? Are you a stacker in disguise? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who? And you say? We've asked you a question. You say? Mike McCoy! Yeah!
We stack and stack with all our might. We'll stack our PBs out of stack.
In the sports stacking community, Coach Ty is known for his unconventional methods of training the Australian team.
We obviously had the kids handling snakes and crocodiles to give a different feel of nervousness because it's all about nerves over there.
3, 2, 1.
I've coached Australian football teams, I've coached soccer teams, you name it, I've coached it, I can coach it, yeah? The main point about it is, like I've said, and I've said it all week, this is a sport. I truly believe this is a sport. All of these guys here, you are athletes, okay? But you're also showing you're going to go to the basketball court and you are going to play basketball, yeah? Loose D though. We want to, okay, hopefully they'll cut this out, but a little bit of loose D.
Who's tried sports stacking before? Here we go, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so if our stacks fall over, we don't give up, we just pick them up and we keep going. Everyone, never ever give up. Has everyone else got that idea here? Never give up, yes? Fantastic.
In Germany, well, they're always a big competition.
They're extremely competitive.
They're like cutthroat competitive.
Oh yes, and they don't win anymore. They used to win all the time, but they don't win much anymore.
Oh, those Germans are starving for a victory.
They like their privacy. They're very serious. They're extremely well trained.
Doubles and relay, they're amazing. They always seem to stay in a different hotel.
And we don't even know where they're staying. I think they did that on purpose.
I think so. Private practices.
I am not the USSA for the 10th time.
No secrets. No. Okay. All right. I want to sound as modest as possible, but I am considered one of the 3 legends in sports stacking. Steven, Luke, and myself, we're considered the legends because we were the first 3 people to get 5-second cycles. We were just beyond everybody else's speed.
Tyler, Cole, who's kind of always been on the heels of Steven. And Luke, they've both always been on the heels of Steven, but I really think they have a shot this year.
Although Luke and I were just as fast as him out of tournament unofficially, he was just really ahead of everybody's time in tournament.
Yeah, I mean, Steven's a great kid and everything, but he doesn't love it as much as he did.
He doesn't practice as much anymore, but
he's getting into basketball though.
I think in the next several years, sports stacking I won't have as much time to do it.
Aside from Steven, Luke has definitely been my biggest competition in sports stacking.
I tried to beat him for the longest time, and then I finally did, and then he beat me, and then I beat him, and it's just really competitive.
It's a lot harder now since it's so fast now, and there's a lot more faster stackers.
But eventually, people caught up, but we still are considered very classic legends, and we'll always be seen as the 3 main stackers, I guess.
Only the top stackers from prelims will move on to the finals. Today, it's either stack fast or go home.
I remember back in the day when getting under 8 seconds was really fast.
Thank you.
.8:15 is his best time in competition, and far better than I've ever done in competition too. So.
I like doing anything quickly. I consider myself a master of efficiency, and I didn't even know about cup stacking. It wasn't a world-renowned sport till I believe the early 2000s. By then I was already in and out of the Marine Corps. Just the prospect of getting good at something where I can move my hands quickly, master my efficiency, and just sounds like fun. Plus, you don't gotta run.
There are 6 events in each tournament. First, doubles, where each stacker uses 1 arm to stack a cycle. Second, the time 3-6-3 relay, composed of 4-member teams. The next 3 events are the individual 3-3-3, 3-6-3, and cycle. At the end of the tournament, the stacker with the fastest combined individual times will become the overall world champion. This is the most coveted trophy for every stacker. The last event is the International Challenge, where each country picks its top 4 stackers to compete in a head-to-head cycle relay.
I'm going to put on the gloves and I'm going to go 1 round with an MMA fighter in the octagon, followed by then round 2, which is one of the stackaroos coming on and taking him on in our sport. Yes, sports stacking. Mario, who I met at 2:30 in the morning one morning when I was jet lagged. Just struck up a conversation and he says, I go to the local gym and train and everything else, listen to some of the philosophy of what dedication they put into the sport, training, perseverance, persistence, everything that the sports stackers do, and also the left-right combinations.
Look at the nose now. I'm gonna fix it when we're done. Yeah. Out. Good job.
Ready, set, go. You can be a mic for a second. Yeah. Little face up here.
Team is doing outstanding. A lot of the kids are in the finals. A lot of kids have done their personal best. And now we're getting ready for the International Challenge, which it's going to be a competition.
Every country has its top relay team competing in the opening rounds of the International Challenge, each with hopes of making it to the finals.
It's not so much what your time is you want to win the match. You want to keep climbing into the brackets.
I think it's going to be USA and Germany, but I don't know yet for sure.
It's always USA.
It's always USA and Germany, so whatever.
You know, it's all about a matter who makes a mistake. You make a mistake, it's over.
After several rounds, to no one's surprise, Team USA and Team Germany are the last team standing. They will meet tomorrow in the final round of the International Challenge.
And it really is a real international phenomenon. I mean, when my son and my daughter both got into it, within a few months they had YouTube sites and they had all these friends from all over the world.
YouTube is a place where all fast stackers are. When you see someone in real life that you've talked to so much on webcam, it just feels kind of different. If that person ends up being a lot taller than you expected, it becomes even more awkward.
We set up Chase's YouTube site originally. He was only 8. And the first person that friended him was like a 25-year-old German. Of course, we looked at him, who's this 25-year-old guy? Then I checked out his YouTube site, and I just see a lot of stacking, and he was quite a character.
You don't just know the people, you seem to know them. You know them like you know that your best friend, even though you don't see them all the time.
This guy, love him with all my heart, met him last year for the first time, okay? And you meet people in this sport in particular that you make lifelong friends with, okay?
Oh, everybody's going to be cheering each other on and congratulating each other, and it won't matter what country you're from. It's all about like, whoa, look what they just did.
We don't really get upset over whenever someone beat us because we want everyone to do good.
It's been really hard to see Steven just win all these tournaments, and unfortunately there's no tournaments that I've beat him at yet. If I can even get close to him, that would be nice.
They all know what the records are. They see
know.
it. And when something happens,
It's stop. It's like, whoa, did you hear? Did you see? And everybody's like, oh, they get so excited. So it's really special.
Today's an exciting day. This is the day that kids get to set state and national and world records.
I think that setting goals is just a complete jinx, and I'm just gonna see what I get.
I only got a 246. That's not gonna be good enough for first place this year. So American banana.
German banana.
We will see a new world record. Maybe the Americans do it, maybe we do it. You never know.
333. Last year I got 181. This year I got 668. I did so awesome. It was my first time getting a 10th place medal. I've been working so hard to get it. Yeah! Wait, what? Yeah, he got 168. New world record. Wow. Yeah. William Pauly just got 168 for the 333. Yeah, he's really excited right now.
I don't know where that comes from. That was really super. I can't believe it. It feels really good.
I want to take this to the video review booth and to the official timekeepers.
Potential world record on table number 9.
Sorry, say that again.
Potential world record.
Current world record is 169, so that's a potential world record.
Okay.
This, I guess, is what you'd consider the war room.
Let's go frame by frame.
Don't see any hands on the cups. Up.
Clean.
And he's got to use two
Excellent.
hands on the first he
He's
does,
good.
and he's good there. Down.
Okay, do this. Oh, his wrist.
We need to look at that. So one of the rules is you can't stop the clock with your arms or your wrists. You got to stop the clock with from your fingertips to the beginning of your wrist, and we've got to have conclusive video evidence.
Correct.
We can't do this by what we think.
Right.
We've got to say we can see his wrist stopping that clock.
Right.
I think what he's doing is he's coming down and he's pulling back and hitting the fleshy part of his hand here. If he was doing his wrist, he'd have to be dropping this
Right,
here
he's coming in here.
from the top.
All right.
He's good there. He uses both hands here.
Yeah. His hand lands on the timer.
Yeah, I feel good about that.
All right.
Good. That one's verified.
Yep.
World record.
right.
World record. Good job.
Nice.
Okay, let's move on.
Gonna highlight.
Right.
William Polly, he's up and coming. He's going to be one of the new ones on the record score sheets. He's amazing. He's amazing. But he's not the only one. There's going to be a lot of things happening today.
Well, now it's a new record to beat.
At the end of the day, the top 3 stackers from each event get one last attempt to improve their times. Partners will go for the doubles world record, teams will go for the 363 relay world record, individuals will compete to become the individual all-around champion, and Team Germany and Team USA will face off in the final round of the International Challenge. This is the Stack of Champions.
Sorry about that. Give me a hand as they come up to the stage.
The first event is doubles. Matt and Chase from Team USA will be trying to beat the current world record of 7.47 seconds.
Not bad.
Now Team Germany's Timo and Ryan must beat Matt and Chase's 7.41 to win the doubles competition and set a new world record. After winning doubles, Team Germany looks to set a new world record in the 363 relay. The current world record is held by Team USA at 14.72 seconds. Team USA now has a chance to take their world record back. They need to beat Germany's 14.56. The individual all-around is the most coveted trophy in stacking. Currently, William Polly is in the lead with an overall time of 10.25. Every stacker will be going all out trying to pass him up. After several stackers, William Pauly still has the fastest overall time. Now he'll try to improve his lead. Stephen will need a blistering 4.04 in the cycle to win his 4th consecutive championship, a feat that no one has ever accomplished.
All right.
Now with Stephen out of contention, 16-year-old Luke Myers finally has a chance to win the individual all-around championship. All he needs is a 5.95 in the cycle to overtake William Pauly for the lead.
All right, Luke. Good try.
Good job, man.
For the first time, both Luke and Tyler have finished above Stephen, but the two high schoolers were unable to beat a 4th grader as newcomer William Pauly wins the overall world championship at age 10, becoming the youngest stacking champion ever.
Wow, it's almost as big as you there, buddy. Good going.
There is only one event left, and it is the head-to-head bout between Team Germany and Team USA in the final round of the International Challenge. It's a full-out cycle relay. All that matters is who finishes first. Winner take all.
Ready, set, go.
Well, if you want to see a race that's full of drama, I think you've just seen it happen on the stage in front of you. Again, I just need to get confirmation from the judges.
Germany white wins 3rd round.
Okay, fantastic race. This year's 2011 International Challenge goes to Germany white.
It's always Germans against the US, but this time the Germans won it.
Could have used a better ending.
It's always tough. And I could have got it, but just a fumble.
I proved my consistency today. I've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Somebody always seems to come out of nowhere. And this year was the #1 overall kid, William, the 10-year-old. That was really cool.
It feels really good, and this is only my first championships, and I've been stacking for a little over a year.
There's so few things where once you start, you can never, ever stop. Once you're a stacker, you're always a stacker.
I feel pretty confident if I go back and practice for the next year, starting today, I could probably win this next year, the whole thing. I think it's possible.